Hey Justin, I want to give you the best feedback possible. On first glance, these both look great, but really looking in closer, I think there are improvements that you can make, quite a few actually, just to make it as best as you possibly can. I'm not sure why that's there. All right, we'll ignore that launch screen recorder right here in your browser. All right, let's start with the invoice. So I actually really like the invoice in the overall layout. I think that the top part is really strong, and it's really strong that you don't have a border. Something that George did really well is he had consistency between his invoice and letterhead. I'd strongly recommend that you do similar. I know that you are probably thinking that you are trying to display, I guess, different a different graphic design. Don't worry about that. The way you're actually going to increase your grade is by having lots of consistency between the two. All right. Okay, so I really like this top bit. I really like how plain your invoice font is, and I really like that you've got the colored logo here. A suggestion might be, see if you can make it just a little bit smaller, maybe about that size. I don't know, just a little bit, because at the moment it is, if we looked at the size difference between there and there, there's not much room at all. So yeah, just see if you can bring it down a little bit in size. All right, next. This is fine. I like that you're using contrast to make the name stand out. Same with this one, this is fine. And this is all okay too. Really think I like that this side lines up to the left over here, and then this side here lines up the furthest part out lines up to the right on this side of this here. Where most of your problems lie with the invoice is in this section here. What you have is a center alignment for your titles, but then it is a left side alignment here, and then what that's meaning is things aren't quite lining up properly. What I would suggest is, if you can, don't stress that this doesn't have to be the same size as all the others. If I was you, I would actually make the quantity, so I'm just going to erase all of that. I would make the quantities column size end about there, then have a bigger section for your product description. You could end your unit size price about there as well, so that then it takes up less space. All right. Pretty much your product description is what your client is going to need to write the most in. All right. So make that size a bit bigger. The other suggestion that I would make is make your titles aligned to the right as well. Nothing else on your invoice is center aligned, so make this right aligned as well. Okay. This part down here, I would strongly suggest that you put the subtitles in line with the unit. So if this is where your unit starts and all of your prices are right aligned there, put subtitle here. And then have your price here, your dollar value. Okay, so that then that way all of your costs are in line, and all of the like words GST total are in line there too. That would be my strong suggestion. The other thing that I would suggest with this one here is your terms and conditions. I think you need those closer to the bottom, so aligned, not quite on top of like that, but sitting further down the bottom. Reason for that is you want to allow the client more space here to be able to add more things, and you want something as well as your contact information, which is good, but you want something else that kind of stops at the bottom of the page. So yeah, see, all of these are suggestions, so you have a very good judgment with your eye. So make the change, see if it works for your design. If it doesn't, then revert back. But another strong suggestion I'd also have is, it looks really weird that this number is here on its own. Suggestion would be either to make do an enter from there so that then the whole account number goes down. But then I understand that that would then break the flow of this not being able to go across the whole page, which I really like. So maybe make the BSB go down to the next line, or find some way that you can get it all on the same line. The only issue there is that I'm guessing that this size font is the same as all of the other sized fonts, which you probably don't want to change. The only alternative would be to make it the same size as that there. You play around with it and see what you can come up with. Okay, so that's the invoice. Again, like I said, I'm ripping you to shreds, but I'm ripping you to shreds because I want you to be able to improve it and be able to hit those highest grades, okay? Onto your letterhead. I had Mr. Brooks look at this one. He said that he didn't like it at all, the letterhead. I don't mind it. However, you're not being consistent between the two. And I, like I said, prefer this one here. So my strong suggestion would be to use a similar header like that. The other thing that I would strongly suggest, three more things that I wanted to say. Your logo is this one here, yeah? And what you've done over here is you've converted it to white. I think that's what throws me off the most. If you can make sure that you're using your original logo. I know you have variations, but make sure it's the one that would be most strongly associated with Nick's name that's being used as the letter head. The second thing was white space is awesome, but maybe too much of it here at this stage. What I suggested to George is that you definitely chuck a signature here, doesn't matter what, all right, make something up, then that's going to mean that there's less white space on your page. The other thing is maybe my next tip will help you with this. The other thing that I was going to recommend was that you make sure that you've got a business letterhead layout, not just a general letterhead. So at the moment, this probably would be more well suited to something that is posted between friends, or maybe a light-hearted kind of company, but we are after a really professional business, okay? So I'm just going to flick over to here. This is the layout of a business letterhead. Another example would be this one here, okay? Now, the reason that these are business letterheads is because it's got your company's name and it's got the company that you are sending it to's name. Now, I know that to me this looks old-fashioned, but that is the correct business layout. So can you please make sure that you're using that in order to achieve the highest grade that you can? I'm not saying that you can't, I guess, break the rules a little bit, but don't break them too much is what I'm saying. The other quick thing that I wanted to touch on with you is I just really quickly wanted to go through some examples from SACE. You've already seen these. So remember, this was the A minus. It's very basic. It's only got the header, and that's about it, and then the layout, but this was an A minus, all right, an A minus. See, and they've got white space, so I think it's just how you use it, and if you've got that signature there, then you'll be fine. This one was a B. The reason that it was a B was because they took things kind of too far away from the business layout with their logo, okay? So just be mindful of that. And then this one was the A/A plus, where they still kept it plain. There wasn't anything too exciting going on, but it appears professional, I guess you could say. All right, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to take this feedback on and you'll be able to improve your design. The main features, especially for the invoice, is just get that alignment spot on so that then it's not at all confusing. Everything's connected in some way, but also appears to be separate. For example, these here. All right, and with the letterhead, I don't know. You probably already have an example of a letterhead that's in this style. See if you can come up with something like that. Definitely keep this here and definitely keep this black and white image in the background. Otherwise, see what you can come up with. I will be checking my computer over the weekend if you want to send me a draft before you submit. Okay, thank you.